Welcome back to BugNoJutsu. Today we're going to solve a really interesting problem from LeetCode called Article Views 1. This problem is quite common in real-life scenarios, especially in data analytics and back-end systems. It tests your ability to analyze viewing behaviors and apply filtering, deduplication, and sorting techniques. In this video, we're going to deeply understand the problem, explain it step by step, and solve it using both SQL and Pandas, without writing any actual code during the explanation. So if you're preparing for SQL interviews or data analyst roles, or even working with Python for data tasks, this video will really boost your skills. Stay with me till the end, because I'll also share some crucial insights that can help you crack similar problems in your interviews and projects. Alright, let's first understand what this problem is about. Imagine you're working with a table that records article views on a website. Each time someone views an article, a record is created in this table. The table has 4 pieces of information: the ID of the article that was viewed, the ID of the author who wrote the article, the ID of the viewer who viewed the article, the date when the article was viewed. Now, your task here is very straightforward but important. You need to find all the authors who have viewed their own articles at least once. In simple terms, if the author's ID and the viewer's ID are the same for any article, we need to identify that author and list their ID in our result. The final list of authors should not have any duplicates and must be sorted in increasing order of their IDs. Let's quickly go through an example, without using any table. Just imagine it in your mind. Suppose we have an author with ID 7 who has written a couple of articles. Now, in the data, we see that there's a record where viewer ID 7 has viewed one of those articles. This tells us clearly that author 7 viewed their own article. Similarly, if there's an author with ID 4, and we notice that viewer ID 4 has viewed one of their own articles, then we also need to include author 4 in the result. In the final answer, we just need to return a list containing IDs of such authors who viewed their own articles. We don't care how many times they did it. We just want their ID to appear once in the output, sorted in ascending order. Now let's talk about how we can solve this using SQL. The solution here is quite systematic. Step 1 is filtering. We start by picking only those rows where the author ID and the viewer ID are the same. This condition ensures we only focus on authors who viewed their own articles. Step 2 is removing duplicates. It's possible that an author has viewed their own articles multiple times, but we only want to show each author once in the final output. This is where we remove duplicates from the filtered results. Step 3 is sorting. The problem asks us to return the IDs in ascending order. So, after filtering and removing duplicates, we sort the IDs from smallest to largest. And that's it. In 3 simple steps, filtering, removing duplicates, and sorting, we can solve this problem using SQL. In SQL, the distinct keyword is used to remove duplicate rows from the result, ensuring only unique values are returned. The AS keyword lets us rename the column in the output, making it match the required format. We use order by to sort the results either in ascending ASC or descending DESC order. Now let's solve the same problem using Pandas in Python. The process here is quite similar to SQL but expressed slightly differently. First, we filter the data frame to keep only the rows where the author ID matches the viewer ID. This step isolates cases where authors viewed their own articles. Second, we focus only on the author IDs in these filtered rows, since that's the only column we care about for the result. Third, we remove duplicate author IDs to ensure every author appears only once in the result. Fourth, we sort these IDs in ascending order to match the required output. Lastly, we reset the index of the data frame to make it clean and neat before returning it. This method shows how Pandas mirrors SQL logic in a very natural way, making it easy to apply your SQL thinking to Python-based data tasks. So, what are the key learnings from this problem? First, it shows how important it is to recognize self-relations in data, where an entity interacts with itself like an author viewing their own content. Second, it highlights how common tasks like filtering, deduplication, and sorting are in data analysis, whether you're using SQL or Pandas. Third, it proves that thinking logically about steps instead of jumping into code often leads to faster, cleaner solutions. This problem also reminds us that both SQL and Pandas are very powerful tools for solving such analytical problems, and knowing both makes you versatile in real-world scenarios. If you're preparing for interviews, remember that this filter to duplicate sort approach is a go-to technique for many problems. And that's a wrap for today's video. We started with a simple yet practical problem, understood the task in detail, and solved it step by step using SQL and Pandas, all without writing a single line of code during the explanation. If you enjoyed this breakdown and learned something new, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to BugNoJutsu for more easy-to-understand coding tutorials. Also, let me know in the comments which approach you prefer, SQL or Pandas, and whether you'd like more videos where we solve problems using both tools. Thank you for watching, keep exploring, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, happy coding!